beautiful people of the internet. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully great, and welcome to Budget Builds, where we use zero Forma and achieve maximum efficiency. In today's video, we're taking a close look at Wukong, aka the Monkey King of Warframe. Except this is the helmet edition of the Warframe. If you guys don't know how the helmet works, basically you pull abilities from one Warframe and insert them to the other Warframe. So before I continue with the video, guys, let's talk about our merch store. So some of you guys know I am selling merch. Guys, we're selling caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you would like to support me or the channel any further, go and buy some merch and remember to tag me on my personal Instagram account at OneManArmyYigit or at OneManArmyYigit_merch, and we'll definitely do some shoutouts. And don't forget to click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos, and let's do this. So I've already covered Wukong in a previous video. If you guys would like to have more information, links will be down in the description, and I'll suggest that video to you guys at the top right, so go ahead and watch it. So with that being said, let's move on to our helmets. Alright, so what I've done is essentially I've replaced Celestial Twin with Warcry. The reason why I chose Warcry is because Primal Fury does receive the benefits that Warcry gives. If you guys don't know, Primal Fury is an individual melee weapon, and Warcry does buff melee weapons in terms of attack speed. And the main thing is also that because you're playing as Wukong and you have a melee weapon out, you're also going to be pretty aggressive, so having that increased armor will be beneficial. So with that being said, let's move on to our build. Alright, so here's our build. As you guys can see, I haven't added any Forma whatsoever. Now, one thing I do want to say is that this build is a little bit similar from the previous build. The only difference is that I've modified it slightly. In this case we've got growing power, in the other case here we've got steel charge and a little bit less power strength. So let's continue with our build. So for our aura we have growing power, August Secrets, Intensify for more power strength. The more power strength we have, the more damage our blade or our staff itself will deal, and also Warcry will be increased in attack speed. So in other words, more power strength means that your Warcry will have more increase in attack speed, you'll have more armor, and also your staff will have more damage. In other words, more armor, more DPS. We've also got ourselves Primed Flow for bigger energy pool, that way we don't restrict our Primal Fury in any way. We've also got ourselves a Vitality for a bigger health pool, that way we don't die as easily. Now here we've got Rage. Now when it comes to this slot, you guys have got three options. One, you guys can add a Streamline. Now the reason why you want to add a Streamline is so that you have more, or you can stay in your Primal Fury for longer. More Streamline means that you've got less drain. Another option you guys can have is, what's the name of that one? Eternal War. Now the way that Eternal War works is essentially you guys can stay in your Warcry for as long as physically possible, assuming that you guys are continuously killing enemies every second. So for every kill that you guys get with your melee weapon, what happens is you'll be then given 2 seconds. And finally, the third option is Rage. Now Rage I think is probably the best option because this build right here is extremely energy hungry. You know, you're going to be recasting Warcry, you're going to be recasting Defy, and then you're going to be recasting your Primal Fury, assuming that you know you guys have to do that. But that would be the most case. Now the way that Rage works is any form of damage that you receive to your health, 40% of it will be converted into energy. This is a very good mod because when you guys are using Primal Fury, you will be aggressive and you will take hits, and also your shield will be negated instantly, so this mod will always be in full effect. So you don't have to worry about any loss in, you know, energy. And the nice thing is, during your exalted ability or exalted base ability, Rage can actually replenish it while it is active. Energy pads don't do that, so yeah, that's why I decided to go with Rage. Next we have Narrow-Minded and Primed Continuity for more duration. Now the more duration that you guys have, the longer your Primal Fury will last, because remember, your Primal Fury is an exalted base weapon, and the way that day drain works is the more duration you have, the more efficiency you have, the less drain you will have. So yeah, and also more duration means that your Warcry can last even longer. And finally, one of the main mods in this build is Primal Rage, and the way it works is simple. Every time you kill an enemy, you are given 15% increased critical chance. But if you guys don't kill an enemy for a while, your critical chance will slowly decay for 1% for every second. Now, if you guys, you don't have to worry too much about the decaying because, you know, Iron Staff is relatively strong. Not the most strongest exalted base weapon in the entire game, but it's relatively good. So you don't have to worry about the decay too much. And finally, in our arcane department, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I want to make clear is that if you do not have arcanes, it is not the end of the world. It just means that, hey, you need to play the game for a bit longer, but this build will definitely work with or without arcanes. What I'm about to tell you on this particular part of the video is that, hey, here's my advice if you guys do have arcanes. So what I recommend you guys can roll around is Arcane Energize and Arcane Strike. Now here, there's a lot of flexibility. You can either roll with Arcane Energize and never ever worry about energy ever again because, you know, thanks to Rage, or you guys can replace this with Arcane Fury. Arcane Fury gives you more melee damage output. Or you guys can replace Arcane Strike with, what's that other one called? Yeah, actually no. Arcane Fury is another option. So you guys can have either Arcane Energize or Arcane Strike or Arcane Energize with Arcane Fury. Entirely up to you. Another good arcane is Arcane Avenger, which the way it works is if you receive any form of damage, you'll then be given an increase in critical chance. Now, I'm not too sure if it was increased in, because the way it used to work was you'd only get increased critical chance for your primary or secondary weapons. But now, according to the description, let me show you guys what I mean. So according to the description, it seems like if you guys take any form of damage, what's going to happen is you'll then be given additional, you know, 45% critical chance. Not a whole bunch of critical chance, but you know, it does help you out because, you know, the more crit you guys can have, the more, you know, damage output you'll deal. So yeah, all in all, it's entirely up to you. Mod or build to your heart's desire, because my builds are not the be all to end all builds. So here's a build for my Iron Staff. Now from the previous video or the older video, you'll notice that, hey, these builds are a little bit different, and yes, that is correct. The only difference is that I've replaced Berserker with Organ Shatter. The reason behind this is because thanks to Warcry, we don't have to worry too much on, you know, attack speed itself, because, you know, too much attack speed can be a bit of an issue because then you're missing out on damage, and trust me, that's something that we should not be missing out on. Now let me quickly go over the mods. So we've got ourselves Sacrificial Pressure for more base damage, Organ Shatter for more critical damage, bigger crit numbers, and we've got ourselves Corrosive. We've got ourselves Volcanic Strike for more electricity and status, and we've got ourselves Burning Scourge for more toxin. Now these right here, based off of whatever faction you're fighting, will determine the mods that you guys are using. So let's say that you guys are fighting the Corpus, go and add gases, which is toxin and heat. Next we've got ourselves Sacrificial Steel for more critical chance, because, you know, this is a crit based weapon. And finally we have ourselves Condition Overload for more damage for every elemental type or status type that's affecting the target. So for instance, let's say you've got ourselves Slash and Impact affecting the target and you hit an enemy, you'll then be given 160% extra damage. Alright, so when it comes to this build, there are about two things that you guys need to do. First things first, you need to go and proc Growing Power and make sure to activate all three of your abilities all in one window. You don't have to do it all in one window, but you basically want to activate all three of your abilities while Growing Power is activated. That way you guys are given the full 25% additional power strength. More power strength equals better performance or damage output. Another reason why we are attacking the living daylights of the enemies is because we want to take full advantage of our Gladiator stat stick stat. If you guys don't know how it works, I'll leave a link down in the description, and I'll suggest that particular video to you guys at the top right. So go and take a look at it. But essentially, the higher our multiplier, the one at the bottom right, the higher the critical chance will be on the Gladiator set. Now, the crits won't be as high as they used to be because thanks to the Sister of Power vs update, all the meta mods such as Condition Overload, Blood Rush and Berserker, they were all changed / nerfed. But the crits are still there, so you can get yourself some orange crits. And let me just say, orange crits are better than only yellow crits and additional neutral damage. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today's video. If you guys liked the video or it's generally helped you, remember to leave a like and don't forget to spot and kick the subscribe button for more Warframe videos. I'ma make like a banana and split.